What up, reader fam? Today I am bringing you another one of my books I've read recently videos. Today I'm working with HMH Teen and Penguin Random House, and I have a total of 4 books to talk about, so without further ado, let's get started. First up here, I'm going to talk about I Never by Laura Hopper. This story follows a girl named Janie who is focused on school, she's focused on academic life, but also on social life, and she's also very focused on family life right now because her parents just revealed to her that they are going to be getting a divorce. She really has no care in the world to be in a relationship until she meets a boy. And this boy begins to pursue her and they become a thing. And Janie is faced with all these things that she was kind of avoiding. The main thing that she's facing with this new relationship is how far she wants to go with it. This book is actually inspired by Judy Blume's Forever, which is a book that I've never read, but I know that a lot of people growing up look to that book for advice when it comes to relationships. So this is kind of just a more modern take on that book. And I feel like this book does exactly what Forever does. Obviously, I've never read Forever, but I've heard a lot of things about it and I've heard how it shapes people. This book really opens up that discussion on relationships and intimacy. It really discusses relationships in a healthy way. And while you're reading it, you yourself are kind of trying to answer those questions and evaluating yourself throughout the process. So I think this book is a great read for those who are interested in learning more about the first times when it comes to relationships. With that being said though, I do consider this book to be more on the new adult side of things, so be aware of that before picking it up. It's pretty detailed when it comes to the lovey-dovey scenes. For the most part, I enjoyed this book. I do think it really does open up that door for healthy discussions on relationships. I will say that I wish the characters would have been fleshed out a little bit more, and there were a few things that happened throughout the story that I just didn't find to be super believable, so I kind of had to suspend my disbelief and just let it be. But all in all, I did quite enjoy this book, and I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Next up, I read Fragments of the Lost by Miranda. This is a mystery thriller story. We follow our main character, Jessa, which can I just say it was interesting reading a book where the main character's name is Jessa, because that's the ship name for my favorite ship from the Infernal Devices. Anyways, we follow our main character Jessa, who is picking up the pieces of her life after the passing of her boyfriend. As she begins to help her boyfriend's mom by packing up all his stuff, she begins to have these really intense flashbacks of their relationship and what it once used to be. She realizes through this process that their relationship might not have been what she thought it was, and that she might not have actually known her boyfriend as much as she thought she did, which is freaky in and of itself. So she starts connecting all these dots and finding out new information about her boyfriend. I kind of found this book to be sad in a way, like especially if I were in her position and I was learning all these things about my significant other that I had never known about, and not necessarily good things, like that would be the worst. It's real sad when you think about it. You're picking up all these things from your loved one and you realize you don't know them at all. What I liked about this book is that it has this element where you, alongside the main character, are picking up all these clues and picking up all these pieces, and you're both on this journey of like solving this mystery and trying to figure out exactly what happened. And in doing so, you just find yourself so completely addicted to the plot, which this book for sure had a nice addictive quality to it. But not only that, this was a book where for me, I was glad that I kept reading to find out the reveal, because sometimes in these like young adult mystery thrillers, you get the big reveal and you're just like, was that it? But for this one, I was happy that I kept reading and I was happy that I was actively working to figure out the mystery, because to me, the reveal was just super satisfying. I ended up giving this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, it just didn't reach that 5 out of 5 stars favorite book level, if you know what I mean. Next up, I read OTHERWORLD by Segel and Kirsten Miller, and this is actually the Booksplosion book of the month for the month of December. I read it way in advance this time around, so I give myself a round of applause. Yes, thank you very much. Our live show for this book is going to be on December 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so if you have not picked up this book yet, you should totally pick it up and join us for our December Book of the Month live show. This book is about a game called OTHERWORLD, where our characters, when jumping into the game, they completely leave their lives as they know it behind, and they leave their bodies behind as well. They get completely submerged into this virtual reality. But they soon find out while playing this game that the company that owns OTHERWORLD is up to no good. They've done our characters dirty. This book just has that setting that I am a sucker for. I love books like this where there is this virtual reality game setting. I love books and shows and movies that have this setting. So going into this book, I knew that I was going to love the setting, and love the setting I did. I definitely love that aspect of this world, and I felt like it was executed so well. And it brought in some really interesting elements when it came to the virtual reality, like the flipping discs that the characters put in the back of their heads in order to play the game. Like, you know something sketchy's going on when you have to put a disc in the back of your head. Just like Fragments of a Lost, I found this book to also be really addicting, especially around like the 100-page mark. I was sucked into the story. I was just like, well, I'm not putting this sucker down until I finish it. It's action-packed and it's enticing. The one problem that I had with this book were the characters. I really liked our main character's voice, Simon. I found him to be a really interesting character, but I still felt like I could have gotten more from his character. Along with all the other characters that we encounter in this story, I just wanted more from them. They were all kind of on the one-dimensional side of things. It was really easy for me to overlook that though, because I was excited about the world itself and there was so much action and fun, exciting things happening throughout this story. All in all, I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Again, it didn't hit that favorite book level for me, but I still really enjoyed it. Lastly, I read I Hate Everyone But You by Gaby, Dunn, and Allison, Raskin. This story follows two girls who are best friends and their experiences and challenges that they have being best friends at two different colleges. This is a book that I think if you don't watch Gaby and Allison's YouTube channel that you'll really understand like the humor and whatnot. Like, I'm not sure that if you don't watch their channel that you'll like this book. Maybe you will, but the style of writing is very similar to their videos. It felt like I was reading a script of one of their videos, but it was just extended a lot. And I really liked the format of this story. It's told through text messages and emails, but at the same time, I feel like it kind of affected the story in a bad way. It kind of made the story a little bit choppy. And this story is kind of all over the place as it is. Like, it's so sporadic. There's so much happening. It's kind of all over the place. So I think that the format kind of didn't help that at all. The things that I did enjoy about this book though were the humor and also the topics that it covered. Again, for me, it was just like watching one of their videos, and I find their videos to be hilarious. So there were so many moments throughout this book that had me laughing. And this book just also brought in a lot of interesting discussions and a lot of interesting topics. We have the topic of sexuality. We have the topic of long distance friendships. And one of the characters has OCD, so that was also a topic that it brought forth. So there were a lot of interesting topics being discussed throughout this book. All in all, I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 5 stars. So those are some of the books that I've read recently. You guys should let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of the books that I mentioned and what you thought of them. But if you haven't read any of the books that I mentioned, let me know down below some of the books that you've read recently. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I post videos frequently on this channel, so if you want to be notified as to when I post new videos, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and click the little bell icon and you'll be notified as to when I post new videos. I also post twice a week over on my second channel at youtube.com/jessegeorgevlogs. I post Wednesdays and Saturdays, so if you want more content from me, then I will leave a link down below in the description. Go and hit subscribe over there. As always, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye, chew.